There we go. We're live. We're live. Welcome to the No Agenda Wednesday live chat. Breakfast cereal live chat. How's everybody doing? I forgot to change my lights as usual. I'm always forgetting something. But how's everybody doing? Welcome. We got just 3 in here to start, but that's all good. Let me just switch my lights over. We'll get this show on the road. Woof. How's that? Probably bright. There. There we go. That's more like it. Yeah. 3 people in. Wow. Okay. We're going to start. Welcome, the 3 of you. There we go. We got 7. Welcome. Good evening. Infinitely Strange 609. Different day. Different day. Yeah. It's good to be back. Just home, rested, ready to go live and have a good chat with all of you people. No agenda as usual. Just here to talk about whatever everyone wants to talk about, along with Fred the dog and my messy office here. But hey, Maddie, welcome. Yeah, we got lots. Nice mustache. This is just me like being lazy. I haven't shaved in like a week. Yeah. You guys want to let's get this chat going. What's everybody been up to this week? As far as the channel is concerned, we had an episode come out on last Saturday about the Less Dead, as it's called, vulnerable communities, talking about, it's a Where Did All the Serial Killers Go episode, where I talked about the idea that they certainly haven't disappeared, but they've just kind of changed targets over since the golden age. There's a lot of people saying they've always targeted vulnerable communities, and yes, but I was talking about why in the golden age it was so visible, and the reason the golden age was so visible, one of the reasons I think, is to do with these guys breaking out of that mold of going after people that society kind of raises up a little bit more, right? They were attacking, like Ed Kemper killing college students in California, Ted Bundy killing like college-aged white women in the states he was operating in. You got guys like Son of Sam, right? He was killing people in New York City, young, attractive couples, sexually active couples in New York City, right? These victims were changing back then, right? And that's, media paid a lot more attention. And it started to kind of, some of these guys started to pick up on that. And Gary Ridgway was a great example that we talked about in the episode. Gary Ridgway started out killing people that became big news. People cared about him a little bit more. And as he noticed that happening, he started to switch over to sex workers. And as he switched to sex workers, that same coverage didn't happen, right? So they chose victims that society hides for them, as I said. And that was one of the contributing factors. That's what that episode's all about. If you haven't seen that episode, you might want to go over and check it out. It's a good one. It's doing well for the channel as well, so that's good. Next up, I'm going back to the couch. I'm going to visit the comments for a second. 8 miles look. 8 Mile look. Yeah, just the black toque and the, yeah. Dr. Gull approves. Been writing my stories, Tales of the Dead Soul Society, on the Discord server. Cool. Yeah, that's 2 people saying Eminem look, I guess. I have the strangest reasons for getting into true crime. Also, nice mustache. Yeah, the mustache is going to be a big deal. I'll go shave it off right now. This is just lazy, folks. Laziness. But yeah, what's the reason you got into true crime? Let me know. I would like to hear about it. But yeah, next up, going back to the couch next week. I'll be, not this Saturday, next Saturday, doing another one of these, similar to Bronson, an outlaw type, a criminal who has been become kind of famous, especially where he's from. And he's kind of become a bit of like a folk hero. He's from Australia. I'd love to hear if anybody has a guess. I think I've mentioned it once or twice, whether it's in a live or on other things, but I haven't covered the Houston stuff yet. Somebody just said, not sure if you've covered the weird murders in Houston. Coincidence or serial killer? I don't know enough about it yet. I haven't covered it at all, but yeah, I keep hearing about it, right? My parents always had on Forensic Files as a kid. Yeah. Forensic Files is a big one, right? For me, it was American Justice. I've talked about that a bunch of times on here. American Justice and that A&E biography. A&E's that's in the States, right? Yeah, it's in Canada too. But the A&E biography, and they would do different serial killers and stuff. That's where it kind of got me. It would be on like, weekday mornings. I think American Justice was on at like 10 a.m. or 11. But right before The Price is Right, I remember that. And I'd watch it every day, pretty much. Unsolved Mysteries, yeah. It's funny how Unsolved Mysteries gets lumped in a lot with like the true crime, because a lot of Unsolved Mysteries isn't really crime all the time either, is it? Like some of it is for sure, but some of it's like alien type stuff and all that. So it's interesting. It fits though, right? It does fit. Mick Taylor, who's that? Checking the comments. But yeah, did I miss something? You didn't miss anything. It just got me started infinitely. Yeah, Unsolved Mysteries got, yeah, I don't know why it does fit in that whole kind of vibe, right? Unsolved Mysteries, American Justice. There was a show here. I think they had it in the States. It was called Rescue 911, hosted by William Shatner. I lumped that in too. You know what else I would lump? And it totally isn't the same at all. America's Funniest Home Videos. Like those shows, it's such a thing of the times, right? Like the 90s, Unsolved Mysteries, America's Most Wanted, like Sunday night kind of stuff. America's Funniest Home Videos. For me, it was. Do you remember they also had America's Funniest Home Videos, and then they started for a while. They tried to have a show called America's Funniest People, and it was hosted by the guy Dave Coulier, the guy who played Uncle Joey. Didn't last as long, I don't think, but like, remember that? Weird. Ivan Milat. Yeah. Interesting story about Ivan Milat. Ivan Milat is oh, you're guessing Ivan Milat is my guess. No, I'm not doing an episode on him right now. I had done an episode on Ivan Milat, or we wrote, I shot, and I started editing the Ivan Milat episode several times, editing it. And for some reason, it's the only episode I've ever made that it never saw the light of day. It's the only one that, for whatever reason, I just didn't like it after I started editing it. And I just couldn't get it. So it's on the back burner. So no, it's not Ivan Milat coming out next week. It's a different Australian. He's not a serial killer. He's more like a outlaw type. The Unsolved Mysteries always sprinkled in weird stuff like Bigfoot. Yeah, Bigfoot rules, man. Aliens. And then suddenly you get crime mixed in. Yeah. The new one seems to lean a lot more on true crime. Yeah. It's too bad, man. They should do more Bigfoot. Bigfoot is awesome. Wouldn't it be just the coolest thing ever? I always think it would be the coolest thing ever. If all of a sudden just one of those things, Bigfoot, Loch Ness Monster, or something like that, all of a sudden one day it was just like proven, like completely, like just without a doubt. It was like, holy crap, look, there's the Loch Ness Monster. It actually exists. All this time, it actually really existed. That would be amazing. I other than like the fact aliens coming in our lifetime, that would be like one of the coolest things ever. The next topic for what happened to serial killers. What's the next topic? To be honest, I'm super surprised your channel hasn't reached 100K yet. Well, thank you. Well, hopefully we get there. I'm hoping it will soon. I've had a couple meetings today about plans for the channel when we do hit that 100K. A bunch of stuff coming. I'm laying the groundwork. I've met with a couple cornflakes, as we call you guys, right? Like the fans. super fans, if you will, who are interested in kind of helping out in some ways, like with the Discord server that's getting underway, and like some mod stuff and things like that. So, and memberships. For those who are interested, there's still always going to be free everything on the channel, but there's going to be some extra perks for people who want to get a little more involved and things like that. So there's lots to come. The next episode of Where'd All the Serial Killers Go? The next episode in the Void is going to be a little bit different. It's going to be about whether or not does true crime train people how to get away with murder. That's like the whole idea of the episode. I look at whether or not I think there's any weight to that, because I've heard that a lot. Like, oh, people can get away with murder now because they watch all these true crime documentaries that teach you what not to do, right? And it's like, is that true or not? And the answer is like, well, you have to see, I guess, right? But that's the next episode that's happening in the Void. Chopper, there you go. You got it. Somebody guessed the guy I'm doing next Saturday, not this Saturday, the week after. Back on the couch. Guess what? If you like the Bronson episode, you're really going to like the Chopper episode. I think the Chopper episode's better. Will it perform as well as Bronson? I hope so. But the Chopper episode is just, it's going to be next level great, I think, personally. I really like it so far. I'm like halfway through editing it. If you don't know Chopper, look into him before the episode even comes out. His name is Chopper Reed. It's a bunch of crazy stuff. I loved Saturday's video. I've always thought they just switched to less noticeable victims in rural areas. Yeah, rural areas or not. I mean, even, you know what, like sometimes in big cities, I think in big cities, it's even easier, right? Rural areas, not as much. Think about it. If somebody commits a murder in a smallish town, a rural area, regardless who it is, that becomes big news, right? Because it's like, these things don't happen in this town, blah, 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 blah. If somebody commits a murder of like a sex worker in like, I don't know, like East Vancouver here, Hastings, you know, it's cloaked a lot easier, if you will, than it would be if it was in the rural area, if you ask me. Hey, Josh and everyone else, hope all is good. Hey, Monkey Land, everything's good on my end. Hope everything's good for you. If you were a unicorn, would you fart rainbows or sprinkles? Now, that's a question for an entire topic, an entire episode, I guess. Rainbows. Bigfoot was definitely just a bear on 2 feet. Yeah, I mean, which Bigfoot, though? Like, there's no convincing Bigfoot footage, right? That I would even, yeah. Dating game Rodney is such a disgusting human being. Yeah, Rodney. I've been back and forth on doing an episode on Rodney Alcala a bunch of times. Haven't gotten around to it yet, but I think Mega Squid or something along the lines could plausibly exist. Yeah, definitely. However, it's definitely not in little old Loch Ness. What do you have in that KFC bucket on the shelf? Well, that KFC bucket on the shelf is from an episode that I did, actually. I bought that. That's an actual vintage. That's a bucket of a real bucket from the 70s from KFC. There was no chicken in it when I bought it. But you should watch the episode on me making John Wayne Gacy's last meal. That's where that bucket's from. And we got it authenticated in the episode, too, kind of. It's like my favorite episode. You haven't seen it. Let's see. I'm surprised this channel isn't at 500K, let alone 100K. You know, I'm not tooting the own horn here, but like that, I get that comment multiple times a day on videos. People being surprised at how few subs the channel has. Should have been here like 6 months ago, folks. We only had 10K, so things are looking up. We're at 78,000. I'm really looking forward to hitting 100K, to be honest. What's in the bucket? I'm assuming that's a 7 reference, right? I brought up the Beast of British Columbia. Have you had a chance to look into Cliff? I don't think so. Based on your last video, maybe that's why serial killers have disappeared. They studied what not to do. Yeah, maybe, but yeah. Who knows, right? There's a really good Aussie YouTuber called the Chaos Chronicles. He's got some really good content on Chopper Reed and other Aussie criminals. Cool. I'll have to check it out and come across that. What kind of dog is Fred? Me and my dog, Blaze, are moving to the Green River area in Washington very soon. He's a true crime fan, too. Fred is a beagle. He's a classic beagle, man. He's a good-looking beagle, though. There's a lot of beagles that are kind of weird-looking. Freddie's a good-looking beagle. First stream, the What Happened series is great, but the Couch series is just infinitely rewatchable. Big fan, good stuff and such. Would you ever think of doing more movie reviews? Yeah, I definitely want to do more movie reviews. I should maybe do one in the next batch. Got to find a good movie. I don't like doing movie reviews of movies that are good. If you've noticed from the movie reviews I've done, I think it's worthwhile. I've got some new stuff coming out that's different. Some new content that I'm going to start mixing in as well that I hope you guys will like. But yeah, I would definitely love to hear about some movie recommendations that I should review. And yeah, thanks for the stuff on the Couch. I love the Couch. The Couch is how I started the channel. The Couch is all I did for 3 years. It just didn't do well for 3 years. It did very poorly. So I switched it up and I started doing Where'd All the Serial Killers Go? And that did really, really well. And when that finally started to do well, all of a sudden the Couch stuff started to get some lift in the background. And people were saying, don't give up on the Couch. And I was like, great, I never wanted to. So interestingly enough, Bronson the other couple of weeks ago was the first kind of step back into the Couch since that uptick happened. And it did very well. So I'm really excited because I think that means we found the audience, hopefully. And I hope that the next episode, Chopper Reed, will do just as well, if not better. And that would be just really fantastic if it did. Probably ate cereal out of the bucket. No, I didn't. KFC video with the worker. Yeah, KFC video with the worker from KFC. I did a video where I got a guy from KFC to help me do something. Question is he really from KFC or is he just a really good actor friend of mine? You'll never know. Who would win in a fight, you or a family of possums? Depends. Is it me? I always said I could take a possum for sure. I don't know about a squirrel inside a sleeping bag. That would be a fight I wouldn't want to do. I want to go back into that. I was doing that series for a while. Could I take them? And just going through different serial killers and thinking of whether or not if I could fight them or not. Who I could take and who I couldn't take and why. This is a really ADHD group. Yeah, that's great. Ethereal Saint says, I love your videos. Well, thank you very much. Appreciate that. What's your favorite one? Have you done H.H. Holmes? Yes, I have done H.H. Holmes. More than a year ago. If you scroll back or even just on the channel search for H.H. Holmes, or I think it's called America's First Serial Killer. He's often called that, even though he wasn't really. That's where you'll find that episode. Hey, bud, keep at it. I'm surprised you didn't crack 100K. Sorry, I dropped off. Oh, look who it is. It's the uncomfortable wife, but it's actually I'll make you uncomfortable. Oh, no, I'm getting towards 100K. We're getting there. The videos are just so high quality, and you have a very natural camera presence. Really, it's surprising that you're not bigger. Thanks. I have a Colonel Sanders change statue. Paint's a bit worn, but it's original. That's cool. Cutie. Thank you. If that's what you mean. Probably not. You have great options. More movie reviews and more Guess Who. I'd love to do more Guess Who. More than anything, I would like to do more Guess Who. It's just finding the right guests to play with me, right? I'm in Canada. It makes it a little trickier. A lot of the people I want to have are in the States. And it basically means I need the channel to be bigger so that the channel makes more money so that I can afford to fly some people into play. I'm not going to do things like Zoom. It just doesn't work for my channel. So looking into it, hopefully I can get some people on soon. I would love to do at least 2 episodes of that this year. So I hope I can find a couple people that I want to come out. Wow. Jazz Kitty gave me $5. Thank you. I did this because I feel like it. Also, did you read my story? Also, I'd love more movie reviews. Did I read your story? Which story? You got to tell me what story you mean. Also, I'd love more movie reviews. I don't know what story you mean. Tell me what story you mean. Which is your favorite planet in the solar system? I don't know. Don't have fun. The couch is super you. Thank you, Josh. Remember where you came from. I'll do whatever I want, man. It's all me. It's all 100% what I want to do. I don't do anything I don't want to do. It's really your element. Not sure if you've done it, but I'd watch reviews on the Netflix killer stuff. Like what Netflix killer stuff? Sorry. It's nothing to say, but it's sad that there's so few serial killers because there's only so much you cover, but it's incredible content, incredible quality, and all around entertainment. Yeah, don't worry. There's lots to do. Like right now, the channel's evolving, right? So it's like I'm going to be keeping most of the serial killer stuff in the void. Like most of the stuff that I'm talking about that's like super heavy like that, I'll be doing in the void, and the Where'd All the Serial Killers Go setup. I call it the void because it's not always just Where'd All the Serial Killers Go. That's where I'm going to do most of that, I think. And like the couch is going to be for topics like Bronson, like Chopper Reed. I'm doing a Bonnie and Clyde. I'm doing a Heaven's Gate, that kind of thing, right? It just works a little better, I think, for the most part for that kind of content. So I'm excited for some of those. Chopper is not a good Australian representation. I've already done Dennis Allen. So is he better? Do you know Dennis Allen? I mean, if you are Australian there, I'm sure you do. Love the breakdowns on this channel. Really makes you think, keep the content coming. Yeah, you see, like that's what I think about like the void content, if I can call it that again. It's that like I love nothing more than the comedy videos on this channel, like the couch stuff and joking around and stuff. But I also do have a lot of these like serious questions and things like that. And this channel is just supposed to be a reflection of kind of me. So like, and that's what I want to be. And it's like, not all the time am I goofing around. Like sometimes I'm like, yeah, but that's really fucked up. And I want to know more about that little topic. I'm a curious person. So I don't have the answers, but I have the questions, and I want to pose the questions and ask the questions along with you guys. And it's fun to do that, right? So that's why I think there's room for both, right? And I think a lot of people are like that. Sometimes I need to break from all the freaking hardcore and go in and just do one of the couch episodes where I talk about Bronson covering himself naked in butter and wrestling a bunch of dudes. Wait till you guys see part 2 for Bronson, because I'm going to do a lot of the workout stuff. I'm going to do a bunch of it. I'm not going to get nude and cover myself in butter, I don't think. But I was thinking I would hire an entire rugby team who was used to tackling each other and grease one of those guys up as an experiment with butter, and then have his whole team try to tackle him and stuff. I thought that would be so funny. So I got a lot of ideas. I'm trying to catch up. I'm running behind. $4.99 from Ekenshaw Personal. Thank you so much. Do you have any questions or anything to say? You gave me $5. You got to have a question. Appreciate it. What's up, man? I know you watched the show Mindhunter. Have you read any of John Douglas's books? He has one where he profiles famous crimes like OJ and Lizzie Borden. I haven't read any of John Douglas's stuff. No. I should. My favorite was Are You a Psychopath? Really? That's interesting. That episode didn't do very well. I liked it. With respect, I think most of us could take BTK in a fight. What a loser. Yeah. Maybe not BTK young, BTK now. Absolutely. Have you ever done a video on the smiley face killer? Not seen it. If you have, I have not. I don't think you could take Ed Kemper. He's a giant. Yeah, I probably couldn't take. I could take Kemper now for sure. For sure. I'm pretty tall too, though. I'm 6'2", 203 pounds of muscle. I could take him. No. I could F up Gary Ridgway, no problem, even in his prime. Screw that guy. I should do all that. series on Could I Take Them? Just call it Could I Take Them, and give my reasons why I could take certain guys and why I couldn't. Give you props for bringing up the Atlanta child murders in your last video. Yeah, I don't hear about them often outside of Mindhunter. Isn't that funny? Because that's like the whole point. And I hadn't heard of it either until Mindhunter, right? It's like it's double proving its own point. You know what I mean? I'll drive up there and impersonate an interesting guest to beat you at Guess Who. Punk Rock Girl, bring it. Let's go. I would love to do a thing where, like, as the channel got bigger, just have like cornflakes. You know, I call you guys the cornflakes, right? If you're big into the channel, you get called a cornflake. And I hope you like that. But just have you guys out to play with me, and we make episodes out of like just playing with like people from the community here, right? That'd be fun. Sorry for the bad question. There's no bad questions. Why are you upset? Hey, y'all. What's up, Jelly the Best? We got 50 in here. We're talking serial killers. We're talking more topics for episodes and what's the future of the channel. So if you got questions about serial killers, you're in the right spot. Let's go. Let's keep it up. We got 50 in here. That's a really good number. I'm happy about that. For those of you who haven't seen last week's episode, it was on vulnerable communities. They call them sometimes the less dead. So go check that episode out if you haven't seen it yet. It's about serial killers switching from in the golden age, they were targeting more visible groups of people, like Ed Kemper killing college girls, Ted Bundy, Son of Sam, killing like young couples, to guys like Joel Rifkin targeting sex workers and stuff like that, and being able to get away with it longer based on who they're choosing as victims. So you might want to check out that episode. Next week on the channel, we're going next Saturday. We're going back to Gooftown, goofiness with Chopper Reed. It's one of the wildest couch episodes I've done. It's going to be one of the best ever. Okay, I'm catching back up in the comments here. Let's see. Sorry, I'm behind, folks. Wait, are we talking cults? We're going to be talking cults. Jazz Case says, basically, I got into true crime because my family and I are like 90% sure we ran into Israel Keys twice during a family trip when I was young. He was a creep towards me. Oof. That's a creepy one. Yeah, I did an episode on Israel Keys. You said you liked it, my episode. Thank you. I love that Israel Key episode. If you haven't seen the Keys episodes, only a few back, maybe like 20 episodes back now, but like couch videos, it's not far back. Your last video was so good. I think it's important to talk about how discriminated groups tend to be targeted with violence more. I worded this poorly. Yeah, but I understand what you're saying, and I agree 100%. I got attacked a little bit by people saying it was woke, which was just silly. Like, that's just silly to say that it's woke to use the term sex worker. But anyways, yeah, it's a good episode. I think it's a good episode. I think it's an important episode to an extent, right? So yeah, you should check it out. Some of my favorites are the Where Did the Serial Killers Go one. Yeah. Have you heard of the restaurant in Ohio that serves last meals? No, I haven't. I should go. Will be good money to see Grease Lightning sung by greasy buttered dudes. Yeah. Lighted gasoline. Have you ever heard of the sniper in Southeast Ohio that shot fishermen and hunters? No, haven't. Bro, it's kind of twisted, but in a weird way, I felt bad for BTK because I just saw him as a nice guy, but he's also a sicko. So yeah, he's not a nice guy, obviously. But the weird thing about BTK, I've said it a billion times about BTK on this channel. I think that he's part of, I'm doing a video, I'm kind of working on this script in the background, what I consider to be the creepiest and scariest type of serial killer. And that's the BTK type. And the reason for that, to me, is the compartmentalization. The ability for a guy like BTK to live a seemingly normal life and have like a family and kids and just be an active member in society and stuff like that. Meanwhile, do all this stuff. To me, that's the most terrifying thing, because this is the guy who lives next door to you. You know what I mean? That's scary. That's really scary that you could be able to turn it on and off that much. Terrifying. Hey, Victoria. I would never have guessed you were so tall. Really? Also, I would love Could I Take Him? Should I do a Could I Take Him episode? Yeah, I am pretty tall, I guess, 6'2". I mean, like, yeah, I guess I'm always seated, right? You can't tell. I'm 6'2". Uh, so if you missed it, Could I Take Him was a whole episode where I just talk about different serial killers and whether or not I could take them in a fight and why. Coming from a guy who's never been in a fight. I did box, though. I would watch, yeah, Thomas Dillon. I was just having a chat with a friend about the fact that so many of the serial killers aren't really smart or clever or devious. They just got lucky to not get caught. Yeah, there's a whole thing about the police too, right? Like sometimes just like you see like it's not Sherlock Holmes out there, you know, like the police in a lot of cases, like it's not as advanced. I don't know. Sometimes it's like it takes you watch my episode on the truck stop killer. Some of the police work in that, like how long it takes them, like I mean, you know, it's like I don't know what goes into the day to day, but like it seemed to me like there was things that they were doing like 3 years in that like wasn't that step one, you know? But sorry, catching up. I would watch a series called Could I Take Him? Also, merch 100K. When we get to 100K, I had a meeting today about merch. 100K merch will launch. The merch initially will just be some shirts and things like that. I really want to get into more specialized stuff. But to start and to test the waters, we're going to go with like some shirts. I'm going to do a bunch of swing set stuff. I think it'll be cool. But then down the road, as things grow, I can't wait to release like really cool like different stuff that isn't just so like cookie cutter. Robin approved. I give up, Josh. I don't know what you're talking about. Should do one of America's greatest psychopaths, Donald Trump. But yeah. Cornflakes. Maddie King, I gotta email you back again too. I think you emailed me, right? That was you. I want you to join a meeting with me and some people soon. If you're interested, I'll email you. If you didn't email me. Oh wait, maybe yeah. Never mind. I didn't remember. Instagram. I'd love an examination of the oft-repeated claims that serial killers and criminals are being glamorized. This drives me crazy, but probably for unpopular reasons. Oh, look, Abra Ducci, I saw a few of your comments, I believe, and we chatted a little bit, and I appreciated your comments on the latest episode. So I could talk for a long time about the glamorization element of things. I've been accused of that a few times. I mean, everyone in this kind of space has. Now, my opinions on it, though, are that I'm like the furthest thing from it. And that even though I'm doing sometimes lighthearted episodes about some of these things, even it sounds crazy to do that my whole entire episode is geared towards knocking the killer down and bringing them down and not giving them any sort of like clout. It's all about making fun of them most of the time. We're talking about how terrible they are. And I think sometimes some of these so-called, if you want to call them serious channels, serious true crime channels, they just play like droney music underneath. And all they do is like kind of like hang out on crime scene photos and like talk about the gore, and they go into extreme detail. That to me is way more glamorizing. They pretend it's like serious and that they're like advocating. No, they're just like getting clicks because it's like talking, it's like rubbernecking at a car accident. I've never done that. I do not glamorize anybody. I make a video that has like bouncy like jazz music and bouncy like funk music, but I'm tearing these guys down in those episodes. So yeah, I could go on and on. But yeah, thank you for your comments, Abra Aducci. Smiley face killers, the conspiracy on the drownings. Yeah. BTK is like the Trinity killer from, yeah. Oh, $5. Thank you so much. And $10 from somebody else. $10 from Thomas Collins. Wow, thank you. You've been commenting lately. I don't see how big number killers can still be out there and as numerous. With less murders and larger population, the ratio wouldn't work. Murder down, population up. I think there's an interesting theory that I've heard too about like the super rich getting into like that kill people. Kind of like the Mr. Brookses. Weird thing going on with your audio. Yeah, is there? Is it still happening? I apologize if it is. BTK is really scary because he's like reminds you of one of your friend's dads. Yeah, it's terrifying. Douglas talks at length about the difference in personality types in the types of crimes people commit. A poisoner, bomber, arsonist, or serial killer all have different traits that show up. Yep. Is my audio okay for everybody else right now? I apologize if it's screwing up. Nugatory operator gave me $5 too. Thank you so much. Like, guys, like by no means that people have to be giving me money in the live chat, but of course I love it. It's helpful for the channel. Every cent that I earn through this channel right now gets reinvested back into the channel through like YouTube ads and all of that, right? Like trying to just make the channel bigger and better in every way possible. I hope my sound's not still glitching out. Audio is good. Audio is good. Okay, thank you. Good. All right, I'm catching up on the comments. Would you do a void video on conspiracy theories regarding these guys, like the MK Ultra connections? Yeah, MK Ultra is one that's been in the works for a long time. The thing is about MK Ultra is that it's such a huge topic and there's so much out there that it takes me extra long to get the episode written and into shape that I feel confident enough to do it. So it's going to come, but it may be a while and it may be a couple of parts. Agreed. My issue regarding glamorization on, say, Netflix is even possible to glamorize reality. I would say like some of the Netflix stuff does. Some of those shows do, personally. Dang, I can't take the sound issue. I'm sorry if everyone else is having sound issues. People are saying it's been okay. So I think leaded gasoline contributed to the most of the 60s, 70s, and 80s losing our share. Have you seen I have a whole episode on lead poisoning and how that contributed to the rise in violent crime and specifically serial killers. You should check it out. The audio sounds fine. Hey, Josh. Hey, Mr. Bert. What's up? Hi, Titanium Taxi. The old live trolls trick. The audio is off or bad. Is it? Why is that a thing? I don't know. Welcome to the live chat. If you're just joining, we got 63 of us in here now. That's great. We're talking serial killers. We're talking where did all the serial killers go? We're talking comedy episodes and we're talking glamorizing serial killers. If you got questions, pop them in. If you haven't seen the latest episode, make sure you get over and check it out. Colin A. Ross is an amazing breakdown of MK Ultra. Audio's good. Oh yeah, you could absolutely do the older serial killers, like the Vampire of Brunswick or whatever his name was. Yeah. Trash Panda, what's up? You're here. Been waiting for you. I've just been stalling until you got here. Good to see you. Welcome to the live. I'll be honest, I'm far too radicalized for government conspiracies. I'll keep my views to myself here, but honestly, it's so obvious. Cool. What kind of building do you film in where you have that much open space? I'm very fortunate, so I get to shoot in like there's two things. One, it's not as big as it looks. I do that with some trickery in editing. I'm very good at trickery in editing. Two, it is a fairly large space. It's a studio. Cameraman Eric owned a production company and owned a full-on studio for a number of years. We actually just moved. For the last 2 episodes have been in a new space. Before that, we were in a film studio with like a big cyc and all of that. The cyc is one of those, when you have a curved wall so you don't see any ground. I could show you pictures, but So you don't have any seams. But now we moved to a new studio. We got to work on the sound in there a bit because it's a little bit, it's quite echoey. I've cut it down quite a bit, but it's still coming through. So we're going to try some new stuff in the next time we shoot, because we shoot in batches. I shoot like 5, 6, 7 episodes at once over the course of 2 days, because it does take a long time to set up. So it's worth it for us to like bang out a bunch of stuff, right? It's tiring as anything for me, but it's worth it. A lot of the people capable of serial killing, I think, nowadays haven't really had the opportunity to take that first kill due to a lot more security and surveillance, despite being a lot more desensitized. Yeah, so I am starting. I'm working towards starting a Discord server that'll launch at 100K as well, unless 100K happens overnight somehow, because it obviously could, right? Like it could potentially, like one video takes off and all of a sudden I'm at 100K way ahead of schedule. Not that there's a schedule, but I want to have a space there for conversations like this, because, like, for example, I've had this question, like I've wanted to do an episode on people who don't become serial killers because they're caught after the first kill. So the question would be for the conversation in Discord, like, does anybody think of any examples of a case out there right now or in years past, like the last 10, 15 years, where somebody was arrested and tried and convicted of murder, and seems to them, they think that guy would have continued on? Because that's hard to find those. Like, do you know how many cases are like that? So it's like, how do you, a lot of people say Koberger, but other than him, right? So we could have a discussion in Discord, and it's a place where we can kind of talk about things, and I can pull from there and make these episodes. That would be great. If it were the lead, serial homicide would have been rampant, and even at its height, it was still a fraction of the tiny crimes committed. Yeah, but the thing about lead is, like, that lead episode I have, it's and none of these episodes are saying that this is the definitive answer, right? Especially the lead episode. The lead episode is made to say, could lead potentially be one ingredient in the soup, right? Just one of the ingredients that kind of tips the scales. Maybe lead tipping the scales is quite an obvious thing to say, but could it be, right? Because it's like, if the person comes into the mix with trauma, and A, B, C, D, E, and F is lead G for those people, and G's enough that makes is that final ingredient, right? But you have to have all these other things already too. It's not that just lead affects everybody, turns them into a serial killer. It's like lead affects the person who already has all these other circumstances happening. That's my thoughts on it. Totally worth of editing. Also takes forever. Yeah. They're not that rare. Do you think serial killer couples? Do you think woman is like a battered wife or birds of a feather? Yeah, I mean, I talked very briefly about a couple. Oh, I say I've done it. It's in an episode that's coming up. I'm going to be talking about a few of them, and when I get to the Bonnie and Clyde episode, Lonely Hearts and stuff like that, for example, or Mira Hindley and I can't remember his name actually. Mira, whatever. Does your YouTube still give you good revenue when YouTube premium users download videos? I don't know. Is the couch room a set? If so, do you have to rebuild it? So that's a great question. I love questions like that, to be honest. The couch, originally we shot it. I've told the story a bunch of times. I'll tell it once more here. Originally, we shot in a real basement room, and I put a thing out on my personal Facebook years ago saying, like, when I started the channel, I was like, does anybody have a space like this? I showed a picture, and somebody that I knew said, hey, my grandma's space like that. She doesn't even live in the house anymore. You can use it. So we started. It was an hour and a half away. We drive out and we shoot there. But then after we did that 2 or 3 times over the course of a year, unfortunately, the person who owned the place kind of passed away, and the family was going to sell the house. They got in touch with me and said, we're going to sell the house. You can't shoot here anymore. I said, can I buy the couch? They said, sure. So I bought the couch, and now I went back to the house and we shot plate shots. So we shot in the space again without the couch there, and I used those plate shots, and now I put the couch on the floor in the studio, green screen behind me, and then I put I key it. I comp in the plate shots of the actual space that we used to be in, and that's how I get the look. So the thing that takes the time is lighting, because lighting for if you want to light, like people do green screen stuff on TikTok and stuff like that, it looks like SHIT. That's fine because it's not the style of their video. It doesn't matter. It works fine for what they're doing. It doesn't work for me. I have to have mine look pretty good. I would like it to be better than it is even. But we spend a lot of time lighting before we shoot. But once we're set up, I'll knock out like a bunch of episodes in one go. Not gonna lie, bro. When I first saw the video, I assumed you had like 3 million subs. Was shocked to see to the fabric of my soul that you're so small. Thanks. Well, you know what? I hope I grow there. Man, your editorial touch is super on point. The graphics, dialogue, it's just so slick. Well, thank you so much. Spend a lot of time on every single element of every single episode. The writing takes a long time, either me or my brother writing. The shooting takes a long time and a lot of energy out of me, and the editing takes the longest. Rex Hooverman would still be at it if he didn't get caught, sure, but he managed to get a few under his belt too, right? Wade Williams. You mean Wade Wilson or Brian? They've gone on towards, but she wanted to homicide. Very impossible to tell. Great camera. I know he's a good host. Great camera presence and very high quality sets and AV. And dude seemingly came out of nowhere. I've been at it for 3 years. You know, but thank you. Appreciate that. Have you thought about doing these lives on the basement or the desk set? Yeah, I will be doing that soon. It just, yeah, it's hard. The couch lives inside my garage when we're not shooting, and my garage is very small. So like I've thought about doing, I think when it's nicer out in the summer, I'll open up my garage door and just sit on the couch. But I wouldn't be able to do it on the couch normally. The couch wouldn't even fit basically in my basement here. But yeah, definitely going to be doing that. The couch was an investment. I knew some of those later couch videos were digitally assembled. Knew it. Thanks for answering. Yeah, watch the last one to do a bunch of different stuff too. But I would say, geez, I can't remember where the very first couch things. I think the very first ever couch episode that isn't really in the actual basement is Robert Hansen. It is Robert Hansen, the baker butcher from Alaska. So if you want to see the very first one, I think you can tell. I mean, you can obviously tell because I start changing the background behind me and stuff, which I never did before that. What's your dog's name? Fred. I've asked this a few times, but do you have any other projects that you've done before this? Because if not, you came out of the gate swinging with such quality production. I've been a full-time filmmaker, and that's my day job, and I have been that forever. I'm a film school guy. I worked for production companies as a director, an editor, and a writer. I've done a lot of film work in the past, and I have very talented friends. Cameraman Eric is one of my best friends, and he happens to own a production company and happens to be an extremely talented cinematographer. So I'm very lucky. The editing has just always been my kind of thing. I don't want to say I've always been a great editor, but sure. So it's just been, I didn't just start a YouTube channel with having no video experience and had it look as good and come out the gates as good as it did because, yeah, I came into it with a stacked deck a little bit, I guess. I would like random plate shots. I think you're misunderstanding what a plate shot is, but plate shot, sorry, I should have clarified. A plate shot is not a shot of plates that I eat off of like this. A plate shot means a shot with nothing in it. If I got out of here and took a shot of this, that would become a plate shot. And then if I shot myself on a green screen and then I put the plate shot in to make it look like I'm sitting here, right? Yeah, well, thanks, my blood before hers. I thought your sub count would be much higher. I hope we get there, right? I'm hoping that if I just stick with it and I continue to release content that I believe in and that I think is great, that we'll get there, Yeah. And the other thing is you're saying there, abra abracadoocy. I know I was pretty shocked at the genuine effort coming completely out of nowhere. So the effort comes from a place of like, this is what I love to do. So I love to make videos and I love everything about filmmaking and video making. So the effort is there. Yeah, it's a lot of effort, but it's effort. I just love doing it. So if I didn't love doing it, I would have stopped a long time ago. If I was doing it for the wrong reasons, like just to try to make money, I would have stopped a long time ago, but I love doing it. So even though I was doing it for 3 years and videos would only get like 100, 500 views, maybe, if that sometimes. And I just kept going because I was enjoying it anyways. And I was like, I think it's good. I believe in it. So I'm going to keep going. And I just kept going and kept going. And we're starting to see some, some results from that. So it's finally, not that it's happening, but it's like it's finally starting to see some results. So I'm feeling a lot better these days. Even your early stuff made me believe, yeah, well, it's the early stuff was, I think the biggest maybe improvement in the channel, if I could say this, would be my performance, if you want to call it that, because I've never been on camera before doing this thing, and I actually hated being on camera, and I never thought I was good at it, and I'd be embarrassed and nervous and not want to do anything on camera. But I got over that somehow, and I think I've gotten a lot better over the course of 3 years at delivering my episodes, right? Can you give us a house tour maybe sometime? That couch is your gimmick. Love when I see those couch vids. Yeah, well, another one's coming next week. I'm going to go back and forth, episode to episode for now. Do not do a house tour. Don't worry, I'm not going to. Cameraman Eric for president. I'll tell him you said that. I feel like that is Cameraman Eric. I've heard, because I'm pretty sure Amstel 5468 has said that a few times, or things like that. I'm pretty sure that Amstel 5 is actually just Cameraman Eric. I'm not even kidding. That's why but he spells his own name wrong on purpose. Why are you and Eric? What are you and Eric most proud of that is not this project? Well, I think that would probably be different things because Eric's done a lot of work without me, obviously, and I've done a lot of work, not a ton of work without Eric, actually. But Eric's done a lot of stuff. So I don't know what he would say he's most proud of outside of this project. But what I'm most proud of outside of this project is some of my short film work that I've done in the past. And most of it's done, if not most, like 90% of it's done with Eric as my DP, director of photography as well. But yeah, I always have a love for doing anything narrative, right? Do we get to meet the Cornflakes crew at some point? So who's that? Who do you mean by Cornflakes crew? Because like people, I've had a few people say like that there's who's all working behind the scenes on this channel, and it's literally just Eric works on the days that we shoot. My brother writes, and then I do everything else. So like I do everything for like every single day. I work on the channel every day, and not that the other guys aren't a huge part of it, because obviously I couldn't do it without them, but I'm the only one who works on it nearly as much, I guess. But that'll change as we grow, right? Because I'll need more help from them. They'll become more involved in other areas once I can afford to give them money. Your film background is easy to spot, plus good to find an actual use for a film school diploma. Yeah, for real. Remember my name when you start getting those Mr. Ballin views. Yeah, I don't even like him. Sorry, I shouldn't say that. No. Yeah. Well, hopefully, right? I mean, I'd love to get those views. What's up, KRB Zip? You got that Canadian charisma. Yeah. I was pleasantly surprised by the camera shots from the ceiling in the last one. Yeah, that's a sick shot, eh? I love that. That was my idea. That was it's not from the ceiling, it's from a skyjack. We're on it. We put ourselves on a lift, lift up like that, like I think maybe 20 feet up. And then the camera's on a tripod on a scissor lift up high because there's a scissor lift at the studio. Like, how can I use this? Oh, let's do this. Because I needed to find a new way to do the videos because we had to change shooting space, and the way the old ones looked couldn't do it because we didn't have a site, so I had to think of something new. Blake Anderson says, you really are a great host and have very insane camera presence. You have something special, and I mean that. I don't mean to give so many compliments, but for real, you deserve your flowers. Well, thank you so much. Like, I really appreciate that. That's super nice. Like, I work really hard. So I'm glad to hear that some people think that. As a fellow hoser, I'd bet you're from Southern Ontario. You bet right. Yeah. I don't know why you can tell, because I just don't sound like I'm from out east or something. Keep up the good work, says Maddie. Thank you. All these bloody Americans. This lady just said Mr. Hankey's catchphrase. Howdy-o. Northern neighbor. Yeah. Miranda, Miranda Wrights is one of the, she's an OG, if you want to call her that. She's been around since like the early days of the channel for the most part, probably episode 10 or something. Loving the variety in recent videos. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I've got even more stuff coming. So the next time we shoot, I'm going to be shooting November 20th, I think it is. And I'm going to be doing more couch stuff in that shoot. I'm going to be doing a couple more like Void episodes, and I'm going to be doing some new stuff. So it'll look similar, but it's a totally different kind of content lane, and I'm excited about it. I hope it does well. It'll be an easier edit for me, which is good because I'll be able to have, that doesn't mean that it'll be any, like, not as good. It'll just be different. And it won't take me as long to edit, so I'll be able to pump up to weekly episodes, I think. For real, you're great on camera and you're very charming. No homo. I think you should make merch. Trash Panda, yeah, I just had a merch meeting today. 100K, it's coming out. Have you thought about making a collaboration video with a channel with a ton of subs? Yeah, I mean, of course, but like channels with tons of subs don't respond, you know? My plan is always to get even bigger than those big ones and then be like, you should have answered me. No, but I talked to let me see, who have I actually heard from? Like nobody. I've tried getting in touch a few times. I wanted to get Mike from that chapter to come play Guess Who with me. No response. That's okay. I don't blame him. He's probably gets a bunch of emails, right? I'm going to send it to her now. I hate Mr. Ballin. No wonder I watch your channel. Blake says, not really into true crime. I'm just impressed by your presentations, and that's all. And it's always fun to watch. My mom is, though, and I haven't shared your channel with her yet. Well, you probably should. I'm going to send it to her now, and I promise you'll have a new biggest fan. That's awesome. Just Fred sleeping would be epic. Yeah, it's like the new content, just like an hour of Freddy sleeping. LOL, why do people hate Mr. Ballin? How does cameraman Eric spell Eric? LOL, with the K, yeah. Now that Auntie Chef moved back to Southern Ontario, you should collab on Last Meals. Who's that? Auntie Chef. Who's that? I'm gonna have to look that up because I should. There was a, you know what? Like, there was a. Oh, I know that. There was a guy whose last meal, I've always wanted to do this. There was a guy whose last meal, his request was dirt. So there's a restaurant in Toronto that cooks with dirt. So I thought that would be a good part of the episode, and the rest would just be me trying to stomach dirt. I would watch that. Are there any YouTubers you watched that are inspirations to your style? A lot of people say Angry Video Game Nerd, AVGN. That's a guy I tried to get in touch with once. I didn't hear back. I'd love to get him. I think the reason that you could see a comparison to AVGN is just the set, maybe like the idea of like the kind of retro-y, basement-y, VHS, that kind of nostalgia factor. But outside of that, I wouldn't say our videos are similar. But yeah, I loved watching him back in the day. I actually don't watch a lot of true crime because I don't. A couple of reasons. I try not to. I don't want things to slip into my videos by accident. So I just want to make sure that it stays fresh. Bro, who is Mr. Ballin? Mr. Ballin's like a huge. He started out kind of as a crime YouTuber for the most part, but he's kind of branched off into a bunch of stuff. But he's huge. He's huge. He's an example of somebody like he's a prime example of you don't have to have like good quality to do well, right? Because like, and I don't mean that as a negative thing. I mean it like the green screen thing we were talking about. Like for years, the guy had like millions of subs, and his green screen work was still like really like bad. But that's not what it's about, right? It doesn't matter. It's like I guess he was engaging and whatnot, and it's about his storytelling and all of that, right? But like we were talking about that, like for my channel, I have to kind of go a little bit different than that. But like, yeah, like that guy blew up, I think, during the pandemic. This channel to me feels very individual. Honestly, wouldn't liken it to any others. Thank you. I mean, that's the goal. Like, I thought like it was a space that hadn't been explored much. I think like Last Podcast does comedy stuff, but they're a podcast more. They're not really videos. You know what I mean? There's a difference between podcast and videos. Podcast is like, I'm not saying it's easier, but it's like the edits and stuff like that. It's like they might maybe put up like a photo of what they're talking about on the screen with a push, and that's fine. It's a podcast. It's not meant to be like a whole video and a production and stuff. So mine is a little bit different in the fact that it's not really, it's not as just like, and a lot of podcast stuff allows a lot more like just free talk and all of that because it's not scripted as much and stuff. Ours are like very intentional in that way, right? Let's see. Spencer Watts. I was low-key getting depressed watching true crime YouTube videos and shorts, but your content makes it actually fun to watch. It's like different muscle being stimulated when I watch your videos. Thanks. Mr. Ballin is like a clickbaity story YouTuber. He blew up telling stories off no sleep, but pretending they were real. Lady Dawn. He's a horror channel, people say. I mean, he seems like a nice guy. Mr. Ballin did a lot of missing 411 stuff until he got called out by the author. There's a big problem with that in like the community. Like, who's it? Like the Crime Junkie channel, Ashley Flowers and them. Like they were just like plagiarizing a bunch of stuff. Yeah, it happens a lot. There was a serial killer in Pakistan. He killed 100. Yeah. I was talking about a game of Guess Who. What are we talking about? A game of Guess Who for what? Lady Dawn? Who's that? Why don't I know that? Gotta go. So excited for next content. I'll be back next week. Awesome. See you later. Hadouken. Is that a reference to Raiden? Zach says, "Would you make content on South American serial killers?" I make content on anybody if it gets my interest enough, you know. Cal, call me Chris. Oh, I was just reading it wrong. I think I know her, right? It sounds very familiar. Let me look at. Yeah. Thing is, she's too big. She's not going to answer me. She won't answer me. I want to buy you, Eric, and your brother a beer. Keep up the great work. Thank you so much. I probably won't break my 10 years and change of sobriety, but I appreciate the offer. No, I'll get a coffee, but thank you. No, that's awesome. Appreciate it. So, folks, if all of us badger her enough, she might answer you. Where is she from again? Call me Chris. Let's see. She's probably, if she's out west, that sucks. Yep, British Columbia. It's too bad. I was thinking of doing. There's this person who's she's like a mortician. I forget her name, but she's not too far away. She's in the States. She had a little bit of controversy around her, of people saying that she wasn't really a mortician. But I thought that could have, like, I could do something kind of interesting with that. She's not huge, but she's big enough. So I don't know. We'll see. Congrats on being sober. Chris lives in Texas. She's from Canada. The mortician lady. I know who you're talking about. You should do Guess Who with Wendy Goon. He's pretty smart. I know that one too, but why can't I? There's so many, right? It's so funny sometimes. You'll hear somebody talk about somebody and you'll be like, oh, that person has like 20 million subs, and it's like you never heard of them. Lauren the Mortician, totally could see it. Yeah, I think that would be a good one. I'd love to. There's a few big names, and like I really like having people on that are smarter than me. It's not a high bar, but like I really liked having the psychologist Rachel Tolles. Dr. Rachel Tolles. She was great. I'd love to have more like that. But again, like, you know, it would be good, a cop. It'd be hard to find a cop that was smarter than me, though. But I'd love to have a cop on. I should ask in my networks if there's cops around. I did have a conversation going briefly with the cop from the Ramirez case, but he checked out my channel, I think, and was like, no way. Fair enough. I really enjoyed watching the Battleship game thing you did. Battleship. Oh yeah. Okay. So Guess Who? Yeah. Yeah, I'd love to do more Guess Who. We were just talking about that, but it's harder for me at this size to find guests to come, right? I'm in Canada, which isn't that far away from a lot of spots in the States. It's fine. But like finding if they're big enough, they're not answering. If they're not big enough, I'm having trouble finding interesting enough people. And then I got to fly them in and stuff, or bring them in. I definitely agree. It would be hard to find a police officer that's smarter than you. Have you done I have done Jack the Ripper video. You should go check it out. You should be able to search for it on my channel. It's not that long ago, maybe a year ago, not even. Probably about a year ago. It's a good one. It's a really good one. I have I explore some really dumb theories that I make up, but it's good. I think it's a funny episode. You should check it out. All right, what time is it? 10:10. We're gonna go for another 10 minutes. 10:20. We'll go an hour 20 minutes tonight. We had good turnout tonight in the live chat. It's been good. Had a couple of what do we have, like at one point we had like 65 people going. That's pretty good. Was there any killer that you covered that you really disturbed you? Pretty much all of them. BTK disturbs me. I don't know why. Probably the most. I'm working my way back to the video, so definitely checking it out. 3 a.m. over here. Where are you? 3 a.m. 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3. You're like in Great Britain or the UK somewhere? Maybe Scandinavia? 5 hours ahead. Albert Fish disturbed me the most. Yeah, he's. Yeah. London. Okay. Right on. I carry a British passport as well. I haven't been to London in a little while, but I love London. Good time. Yeah, my family's from there originally. Well. So, yeah, what am I, halfway through editing this newest episode that'll come out next week. 4 a.m. here in Norway. Where in Norway? Hvordan går det med deg? Jeg kan snakke litt norsk, men jeg forstår for mye. Jeg bor i Oslo fra 2007 til 2010. Jeg verker i Eplehuset. Jeg også verker i musikkverket CC Vest i Oslo. Hi, Drim. I bet you understood that. I hope so. That's the best I can do. It's not great. It's been a while. It's weird that we are so morbidly intrigued by murder. Yeah, it is. But it isn't. I mean, it's the extreme, right? Things that are extreme have always interested me. And like the other end of the scale too, there's like stuff that was happening. There was a show that used to be on, it was called like Outsiders or something. And it was, every episode was about like somebody who like, I always found the show so fascinating. And it was just about like, there would be like, it'd be like an episode about a person who like ate a couch. I remember that was one. They would eat couches. It was like, oh, I've eaten like 12 couches. And like that show used to like weird. Like I used to be like super into that show, you know? So yeah. I mean, but being so into murder. I have an episode coming out. I've shot it already, so I haven't edited it, but it's coming, and it's on the history, basically, of true crime. And I go all the way back to like the Roman times and talk about it. What? Your Norwegian are better than my English? Yeah, see, there you go. My Norwegian is better. Is not are. No, it's not. That's like about that. That would be about all the Norwegian I could probably muster. I could kind of understand like a one-on-one conversation. Yeah, for sure. But like not much more than that. If I got into a group and people are talking, I would lose it. My man, what's up, Ben Shapiro? Trans Ben Shapiro. It's a great name, Trans Ben Shapiro. I think because even if you're someone violent, the idea of murder is extremely far-fetched. Yeah, for sure. Can't believe I'm late. You're in here. I'm signing off in about 5 minutes. It's all good. You don't have to come to every live. So those of you that are left in here, would you who here would join as a member to the channel? Like, I know that's like, you don't have to say that you would, but I would offer the things that I would offer, let me think here. All the videos would still be, totally the same as it is now, free and for everybody to watch. The offerings would be, for some reason, people seem to like this idea of early release. So I'd do early release. I would do weekly members only live streams. And then I would just do a regular live stream maybe once a month for everyone else. I would offer access to a special Discord server and stuff like that, and maybe some discounts on other stuff. But like that, I think would make sense. So let me know if that's something that you guys think would be cool. Yeah. Right on. Okay, 10:15. We got 5 minutes to go. What do you guys want to chat about? Let's see. What do I got here? Anything new and interesting? I'm running out tonight. I'm getting tired. I possibly would, but I'm brokey. Cost of living in England is awful. But I consider you being the first channel I get a membership for. Well, that's awesome. I mean, I'm talking like quite cheap. I mean, I don't think there's any reason to go above $5, if that, maybe even less, So like, I mean, what's $5 in pounds? It'd be like £3 or something. I've always wanted to know if you've seen Dexter, and if so, if you like it. So I have. I haven't seen the new Dexter stuff yet. I've seen the original series run, and I saw the sequel that they did, like, was it a few years ago? His son shows up, Harrison. But I haven't seen the new one, so no spoilers. And I didn't watch like the one that was supposed to be a prequel that's already been canceled. But I liked the original for sure. At least the first, second, third seasons. With the best season, if you don't think that Trinity is the best season, then you're full of it. But like, it starts to go downhill after that. But I think the first 3-4 seasons are really good. Trinity season 3, I can't remember. I think so, right? Season 1 is Ice Truck Killer. Season 2 is where they think he's the Bay Harbor Butcher and Dokes and all that. Season 3 might be Miguel. So season 4 is Trinity, maybe. So I think season 4. Yeah, maybe it was season 4. But it was, awesome. I think part of the success of that chapter was his $2 Patreon. Yeah, okay. So maybe $2 makes better sense. I don't know. New stuff is solid if you're good at suspending disbelief. It gets even more ridiculous, but it's getting fun again. Okay, cool. I mean, I am good at suspending disbelief, like suspending belief, I should say. Like, it's a movie, it's a TV show. If you're sitting there, I think a lot of times people get a little too, oh, that's dumb. That would never work. It's like, yeah, I mean, they're Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Like, like it's like when they first did this first Spider-Man movie with Tobey Maguire. Do you know that I read somewhere back then, or like shortly thereafter, that they changed the origin to be that genetically modified spider instead of a radioactive spider because people had a hard time, like, that's so far-fetched that it would be a radioactive spider. It's not really a modern. It's like, that's your problem? That's far-fetched? Not the fact that the guy got the powers of a spider and could just leave it alone. It's already ridiculous. It's a comic book. I'm a big Spider-Man comic guy, but like, that was so silly to change it based on that. Like, that's the whole thing. It's just fun. Like, leave it alone. KRB Zep gave me $2. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Trinity season 4. There we go. Yeah. Season 3 Miguel. Yeah. What's the actual likelihood you're going to do a Can I Take 'Em series? Sounds like so much fun. I mean, I should write something. It would take me like 20 minutes to write it. I'll do it. Could I take them? And I'll just outline why I think I could take them. It would be fun. I love season 5 because Lumen, the fact that it's a bunch of billionaires abusing women, which sounds very, very relevant to what we're coming up with now in society. I don't remember season 5 actually. I gotta head out. Love, peace, and chicken grease, cornflakes. Take it easy, Miranda writes. Take it easy. What's your favorite spider? I always need my superheroes to be scientifically plausible. Agreed. I've been back on collecting original run Amazing Spider-Man comics again, just for the heck of it. I just completed the run from 300 to 400. Oh, I love that idea. I want more Guess Who with criminal investigators. Yeah, you guys find me criminal investigators, I'll play Guess Who with them. Technically, if Spider-Man was accurate, he would shoot web out of his butt. Okay, fair enough. Yeah. Okay, folks, I'm going to wrap it up. It's been fun as usual. Thank you all for joining. I reckon I could take you to a candlelit dinner. Oh. Yeah, it's been fun as always. No video this weekend as we're on that every other week schedule right now. I'll probably have a couple shorts come out in the meantime. And in the meantime, thanks for coming. And I'll chat with you all next Wednesday. I'll be back live before the episode comes out. Excuse me. So, yeah, thanks for tuning in. And yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Night.